Hello, everybody. Welcome to, gosh, what are we at now? Month five, right? Month five. It's May. I cannot even believe it. So Whitney is going to be chit-chatting with us tonight all about actionable tasks as leaders. I'm really, really excited to listen to this. So be sure that you are taking all of the notes. But I'm going to go ahead and open us up in prayer. So, dear Lord, I'm bringing you tonight, Whitney. I'm bringing you every single person who has taken the time out of their evening to show up to learn all of the things that Whitney has in store for us tonight. I ask that you would just open everybody's mind, allow them to have a growth mindset and to learn something incredibly new tonight that will help their business take off at the rest of 2024. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Amber. If I could get like Amber on repeat to start my day every day, that'd be amazing because she's just like just so fluent when she prays. So thanks guys. Thanks for joining us. Like she said, we are in month 5 of Ignite the Iron. We're almost halfway through the year, which is absolutely insane. And this month you get me. You get me this month. So I gave the girls the topic, I think it was yesterday. And it's going to be called Walk the Walk, Actionable Items for Leaders. Okay. I want y'all to put in the chat before I even start. I want y'all to put in the chat how you're feeling specifically about your leadership. Business as a whole, leadership as a whole. Just how you're feeling, and be honest. Again, this is a safe space. Chat won't be on YouTube. This is recorded, so be honest. Okay. I'm gonna be talking to y'all a lot tonight about things that honestly you probably already know, majority, and we're going to touch on that at the end. But I want, like she said in the prayer, I want you to listen and take it with an open mind. I want you to take it with an open heart. I'm trying to read the comments and talk at the same time. Okay, I feel that for sure. But I want y'all to know that we wouldn't be here coming to y'all every single month if we didn't want more for you, if we didn't want y'all to succeed in your business. And this is a leadership call. So we're going to talk about leadership things specifically. So I named this Walk the Walk actually after talking to Anya. I almost call her Tanya. Anya, because we're not just talking the talk in leadership. We're not just talking the talk in our business. We need to start walking the walk, right? We know what to do, majority of us. We've been here a while. We've been successful. We've had crazy high paychecks. We've had amazing things happen in our business. We know what we do. We know how to talk about leadership, right? We know what we do. We have to start walking the walk. That means we're taking those things that we know and putting action. But guess what, guys? The leadership, your future is going to start with you. It starts with you. You're a leader. Okay. It starts with you. Every single person on here, whether you believe it or not, okay, that's another thing, but you are a leader. Write it down. I am a leader, because here's the first thing. Y'all have to start owning where you are in your business. Okay. Even if it's really gross, even if it's horrible, like some of y'all said in the comments, you're still a leader. Okay. Not your upline, not your director, not your SSD. Your leadership starts with you. Okay. Just like you got here from the actions that you did, right? You got here, you're here for a reason. It's because of the things that you did to get here. So let's talk about leadership qualities for a little bit. Goal-oriented, right? We need to be having personal goals, and we need to be having aspirations on what we want in our life, what we want in our business, what we want for our future. Because if you don't have those goals, no one's going to want to follow you. No one wants to follow someone who, again, I said this is a safe space, and it is, but if you are portraying the way you're feeling about your business to your team and your leaders, who wants to follow someone who feels absolutely awful about their business? Again, we're human. We're allowed to feel that, But portraying that day after day, or even saying that to them, that's another thing, right? Again, we're going to vent up. So you're going to vent to your leaders, you're going to vent to your directors, you're going to vent to your SSDs. That's why we vent to each other. And when I say we, I mean me, Chastity, Amber, and Anya, and Katie and Ray too. We vent to each other. Okay. We don't put that energy, we don't put that negative energy out to y'all, because that's not going to do any good for you. Okay. Transparency moments, yes. But those personal goals, those aspirations, you need to keep that going. The other part is confidence. Okay. And being a confident leader is going to be someone who owns that they're a leader. I hear people all the time say, I'm not a leader. I don't feel like a leader. I only have one person. You can be a leader without even having a team in this business. Let's be completely honest. People start day one, I'm like, she's a leader. She was born a leader, right? So own it. And keep telling yourself that you are a leader. Keep telling yourself you are the things that you want to be until you start believing it. Okay. Something that Jessie Lee used to always say is brainwash. Yes, I'm brainwashing you. I'm brainwashing you to believe in yourself, right? So wash your brain, clean it up, and let's start thinking positive about ourselves and our leadership. A leadership quality is knowledgeable and curious. That means they have personal growth. That means they're training themselves. That means they're listening to podcasts and things that grow their mind and get them uncomfortable. That means they have team development. They're planning things. They're always, always, always learning. Yes, rest in peace, Jessie Lee. Oh, I don't know if I'll ever be here for that. But they're always learning. They're always challenging themselves. Okay. They're efficient and they adapt to change. Okay. We've had a lot of changes in our business. Can I get an amen? Okay. And if you're adapting to those changes and you're like, no, I'm not just going to give up and throw in the towel. I'm going to adapt to this change. I'm going to figure out how this is going to work. That's a good leader. Okay. So what does walking the walk mean? That means we're leading from the front. Y'all hear me say this all the time. Doing what you say you're going to do and doing the things that you think a good leader does. So put in the chat, what do you think a good leader does? Think about maybe someone who is your leader who you look up to, or maybe someone who's outside of this business. What does a good leader do? Because a lot of times people will say, well, what am I supposed to be doing in leadership? Okay. For me, that's leading by example. Sharing, plan, shows the way, shows how they're working, is present, available, teaches how, leads by example, not words, shows up, listens, shows up consistently, leading by example. So here's a question for y'all. Keep those going if you haven't responded. But do you do those things? Right? There's no magic glitter dust in all those things that I just read off. Those are simple things. You're showing how you're working, you're showing up, you're leading by example, you're doing those things. That's it. That's it. Okay. Now think of a leader that maybe isn't a good leader in your opinion. Don't put it in the chat. I don't want to bring that negativity, but think of the things that maybe a leader has done or does that you don't love, and think, have I done those things? Again, we're going to have some self-reflection. And again, I'm not saying compare yourself. I'm just saying we got to own it. Okay, guys, we got to own what we're doing. And we actually talked a lot about this at SSD Summit too, because it starts with us as leaders. Okay. So you're going to do the things that a good leader does. Comes alongside and reaches up and down, takes the time to show up individually for those that are willing to receive. Amen. Yes, I love that. Yes. Oh, Leslie said, yes, I have. Creating accountability. Love that. Okay. Nowhere in here did it say, or have y'all said, things that are not simple things. We're overcomplicating this, guys. To be a good leader, here, take a screenshot. Okay. If a group of leaders can give you a list of things that good leaders do, there's your answer. It's just that simple. Okay. Now, nowhere in here does it say they need to be earning all the incentives. Nowhere in here does it say they need to be having the highest PRV they've ever seen in their life. Nowhere in here does it say they do all the reels perfectly. Nowhere in here does it say, whatever you have in your mind that you feel like you need to do as a leader that you're not doing. Okay, I'll say that again. Nowhere in here does it say those things. that you think you should be doing as a leader that are maybe too difficult, or maybe you're just not doing. So get out your head, guys. We have to get out of our head. So let's start with sales. We know, okay, we're going to talk about this ladder, 3 legs, whatever you want to call it. There's certain parts of a business. And again, some of y'all have heard a lot of this, but I'm going to touch on that at the end. So I want y'all to stay around for that. You are in sales. Did you know that Scentsy is a sales company? As an independent consultant, your job is to sell a product because we get commission off that. Whether you like it or not, I'm here to tell you it's the truth. You can blame it on me. I'm used to it. You are in sales. So guess what, guys? If we don't have sales, we can't have anything else in our business. And if we do have some sales, that's great. But the more sales we have, the more of everything else we're going to have. Okay? Sales is the beginning. So if you're on this leadership call and it's the 21st of the month and you're sitting at 200 PRV, that's the first thing you got to work on, guys. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You want success in this business. You want your people to work. You want your team to work. You want to work with people who are wanting to work. You got to work. You have to have the sales. Okay. You've gotten 500 PRV before because you're here, you're promoted. And guess what? You did it once, you can do it again, and you can do it every single month. High PRV should be a goal as an aspiring leader. High PRV should be a goal for an aspiring leader. Not only are you going to do the work, right, that your team is going to do, that your new teamies are going to do, you're going to be able to say, yep, been there, done that, right? I've been there and done that when it wasn't easy. But this is going to be the first step in your business for a growing business. As a leader, and if you are going through the pathways on your workstation that Scentsy gave us, you will see the goal is 2K. That's not something we made up. That's not something we pulled out our butt. 2K is the goal. Hold on a minute. 2K is the goal, okay? If you've never gotten 2K before, know it's being done. Know it's been done before. Know that it will continue to be done. 2K is the minimum for some people, okay? So if that's not your goal, or maybe that's too far of a goal for you. So what I suggest then is to average your last 6 months of PRV and add 500, 300 to 500. That should be your next goal. Once you hit that, up it. Once you hit that, up it, okay? So my goal, my personal goal, and this is not to brag, this is just to give examples, is 4K PRV a month. 2K PRV by the 15th, no questions asked. That's for a lot of us, that's what it is. Okay. Because one, I don't ever want to not get that extra 5% commission, because why not? And I always want to be in a spot where I know that my sales are more than what I need to lead my team. If you're trying to lead on the 21st of the month with 200 PRV, that's why your team doesn't trust you, because you're not down in the trenches working with them, guys. That's just the honest truth. Okay. There's so many ways to get PRV. I know that we are a party plan company, but let's even just replace party with network. Okay. You got to start networking. Instead of asking people to have a party, ask them if they will host. Hey, will you host an event with me? Will you be my host? Okay. Because here's the thing, partying doesn't look like it used to 20 years ago when Scentsy started. We know that. But when you're saying things like people don't want to party, that's an excuse. People are partying. People are getting high PRV. People are joining our business. People are doing the things that you're saying they're not doing. They're just doing them with the people that are working for those things. Okay? Don't want to hurt your feelings, but it's true. Okay? You have to network. And here's another thing. Sales is a learnable skill. There are so many trainings on the workstation, on YouTube. If you don't know how to sell something, look it up. I guarantee you it's on your team page. I guarantee you anything you need is on that workstation. Okay. I wish I had that workstation when we joined, because it is stock full of ideas. We have a training every single Tuesday with the company that gives you information from some of our top leaders. All right. So you can learn. If you don't know how to sell, or maybe you don't feel like you're a good salesperson, you can learn how to sell. Okay. I do like to say that I don't sell, I share, because that's how I authentically share my business. Yes. But in reality, I get commission off a product that I sell. Okay. Be teachable. That's where the other part of the leadership comes in. So here's your actionable item with sales. I'm gonna give you an actionable item after each little blip it, whatever it's called. So the first one is sales. The actionable item is to fill your calendar. Ask people to host, change your lingo, change your mindset, and grow your customer base. Because the bigger your customer base, the bigger a pool that you're going to meet and that they're going to introduce you to, and they're going to introduce you to, and that's networking. That's what we're doing. We're networking. If you don't like to say we're in a party playing company, that's fine. Whatever you have to tell yourself to get you in the mindset to do the things, do it. Next is recruitment and onboarding. So that's kind of when leadership is in action. Again, you can be a leader when you join, but you need to be doing the leadership things by this time. From the time you ask someone about joining your team, joining Scentsy, partnering with Scentsy, becoming a consultant, however you ask, you are offering. And that's all that leadership is, offering, because you're going to be offering from the time you ask them about the business till they're done. You're going to be offering. Okay. So you're going to be offering the opportunity. You're going to be offering ideas. You're going to be offering help. You're going to be offering training. You're going to be offering onboarding. You're going to be offering all the things, all the tools that they need to be successful. Now, here's the kicker. They got to pick up the tools. If they ain't picking up the tools, they need to go back to their toolbox of what you gave them. Okay. A good leader provides and offers. A good leader provides and offers. And here's the other thing. That puts a lot of pressure on you. I get it. But again, with the aid of the workstation that we have, everything they need is there. Your goal is to go alongside them, check in on them, make sure that you are giving them that support, right? You're giving them that offering of a conversation, that offering of new ideas, offering of just brainstorming, right? Because that's what a leader does. A leader doesn't go and do their launch party for them and do their next party and do their next party and then have joint conversations for them. You're not allowed to, okay? So that shows you right there that you got to give them the tools to do it. So you consistently showing up, and that's what I'm going to talk about next, as their leader is being a leader. It's all those things y'all listed at the beginning that makes a good leader. Okay. So your onboarding is super important, aka you're showing them the way. They can read it, they can use the tools in the workstation, but you're going to show them the way. So your actionable item with recruitment and onboarding is 30 conversations a month. Okay. Now, if I said that and you were like, oh God, it's the 21st. How am I going to have 30 conversations in 10 days? You can, if you put your mind to it and you change your mindset on how you're working your business. Maybe you've had 21 conversations. Oh, you only need 9 more. Okay. 30 conversations, 1 a day, 7 a week, 30 a month. If you do that, you will be sponsoring. Okay. Don't tell me you can't do 30 in 9 days. And I say that because I did 20 last Monday morning. Okay. So I'm not going to sit up here and tell you to do something that I know that can't be done because I've done it. Yes, you can use, that's a whole other training, ATF or some kind of training to figure, or some type of system to make sure that you're keeping track of who you're talking to, because sponsoring is a numbers game. If you're not talking to enough people, you're not going to sponsor them. You may have a few people here and there come to you and ask you about the opportunity. That's great. But to have a consistently growing business, you're going to have to go out there and get them. Okay. So the next one is show up. Show up to be teachable. As a leader, you must show up in all of the ways. Daily in your business, daily and or weekly to your team. And when I say team, I don't just mean your downline or just your front line. When you join Scentsy, you're part of a team. Something that Scentsy harps on a lot is sharing is caring. If you're only going to share with just your downline or just your front line, or you're only want to you want to gatekeep information for just those people, you're not gonna go very far. Sorry. But people are gonna know that by watching you on your journey. Okay. If you're doing something and it's working, you should be sharing it with the masses. Okay. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want people to think I'm bragging, or I don't want people. That's a them issue. If it's good in your heart and you know that you're sharing because you want to help someone, then that's all that matters. Okay. You can't offer unless you're there. So again, leadership is offering. You can't offer people things unless you're there to show up. Leaders attend events. Leaders attend events of all kinds. That's why Scentsy has events just for leaders, because leaders attend events. They also have so many options. For instance, if you're a leader and you're not signed up for SFR, that's a problem. That's a problem in my opinion, because here's the thing. You can sign up virtually for $50-ish, $51, $52 if you can't make it to in-person. Now, in-person is going to be where things change, but at minimum, if you can't make it work for a schedule, then yeah, virtual. Otherwise, you got to be there in person. You can't expect anybody else to show up if you're not going to show up. Okay, and I know it's a hefty price. But I also know that we know our dates a whole year out. And if you're serious about your business, you start planning a year out and you start saving and you start making it work. Okay. My first SFR, I was a star consultant. I left as a SSC and 2 months later was a director. And I share that because we had to make that work. We were literally in the middle of a move, like we are on most SFRs, to be honest with you. And I told Eric the year before, I was like, I can't miss this. And we made it work. Okay. There are going to be some non-negotiables in your business. Showing up is one of them. That's a non-negotiable. You got to show up. You got to be there. If you can't make it this year, like I said, do it virtual and start saving and planning for next year as soon as they announce it. Again, that's why Scentsy has events just for leaders. They have Director Boot Camp, they have Summit Approach, and they have Summit for SSDs. So they do events for leaders because leaders go to events. Okay. We show up to trainings. Y'all are here. I mean, preaching to the choir, right? But you also show up for yourself and your team. So examples of how I show up. Again, this is going to be different from someone else, even the other SSDs on here. But these are a few things that you could start doing, or at least starting to think, how can I implement this in my business? I do weekly emails. So I do that to my squad. Everyone that I'm the SSD of, I do a weekly email to touch base with them. That's everyone that I'm the SSD of, okay? Recognition emails. I do that every week after the 15th of the month. So I usually do them on Thursdays or Fridays, and I recognize them. Again, if you're a star consultant or whatever you are, I don't care what your title is, you could say, hey, I'm going to start doing recognition twice a month, right? Daily post and ideas to team page. Y'all know these things. Host leader meetings. So we host this leader meeting. Me and Anya, we do our team meetings together. We're hosting a program right now called Up, and we're hosting a working hour that's just for everyone to come and share. That's 4 times a month that we're offering for people to come and show up and learn. 4, that's once a week, just in case y'all were not mathing. I also check in one-to-one with my frontline. So usually it's about 10 to 20 frontline a month. And that averages out to about 10 to 20% of my frontline. I have a little over 100, right? So I'm checking in with obviously my rock stars, but guess what, guys? Phone goes both ways. Okay. So here's the thing. I'll say to people, if someone feels like, oh, and the other thing I do is for a rock star downline, one-to-one offering, right? So if someone comes to you and they're like, oh, they feel some type of way about your leadership, and they're like, she's not checking in on me, she's not doing this, she's not doing that. If you're doing things like this, where you're sending a weekly email, you're sending recognition, you're sending all of these meetings for people to show up, even if they can't get on live, if they're not watching the replay, that's an offering they're not taking. Okay. So again, if you're offering the leadership, those are their check-ins. So your actionable item with that is going to be to commit to showing up in some type of way for a month straight. Okay. Whether that's weekly, twice a week, daily, it can be any of the examples I just gave, any type of showing up, but I want you to do it and I want you to do it consistently and I want you to see things change. Because if you, not just once, not just one recognition, not just one shout out, not just one meeting, I want to see you consistently show up. Because guess what, guys? This would not be, Ignite the Iron would not even be a thing if me, Anya, Chastity, and Amber didn't show up. And I say that because when we were being taught to become directors and above, we showed up to everything, every meeting, every offering, and that's how we got to know each other. We're not in any, well, Anya's in my lineage, but we're not in any, we don't connect in any other way except that we all showed up when we wanted more of our business and we showed up to everything. I never missed a meeting. Never missed a meeting. Why? Because it was a non-negotiable for me. I knew I wanted more, so I knew I had to show up. Now, if you're doing one-on-ones with your frontline and they're like, I'm just not really into Scentsy right now, it's not going to be a focus. That's okay. And you have to make sure that they know that that's okay. Right? You're going to respond, you're going to say, okay, that's, awesome, whatever. But as a leader, right, you have to make the decision that, okay, I know that this person has all these other offerings in the month that they can take up to, and you say, reach out to me when you're ready to go more. Okay. We got to do those things because we can't continue to harp into and try to get someone to work that's not going to work. Hey, baby. Right? Because that's when burnout happens. When you're doing all the things and no one else is doing all the things, it's exhausting. And that's why you got to find the people that are working, whether they're in your team or lineage or not, and grip hands and walk together. Okay. The next one is going to be training and mentorship. So training for new and existing team members, right? Trainings like this. I'm not saying you have to go live every single Tip Tuesday and give a training. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need to be able to train your teamies because if you're working, you have something to train on. And if you've been a leader a while, you can repeat a training. That's where I'm at right now because I feel like a broken record. I feel like I sent this to Anya. I was like, that's all I got. This is all I got. This is what I do to be successful. And I got it. And you take it or you leave it. That's where I'm at right now. Okay. Recognizing and celebrating achievements, motivating team members through incentives and support. Incentives don't have to cost money. They don't have to cost money. But you do need to have that accountability with them, with your teammates. So your actionable item with that is to train and or recognize consistently. Watch when you show up and train, that's two different ones, consistently for a month, once a week, whatever that looks like to you, whatever the consistency is, every Saturday, every other Saturday, see you do that consistently and see your team change. See who talks to you, how that will change. You have to trust the process, okay? Balancing work and personal life. That's one we run into a lot because, like I said, when you're doing all things and no one else is doing other things, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And if anybody knows it, it's us. It's us. We know. We get it. Trust me. We don't tell y'all we get it. We don't complain about it, but we get it. When you're pouring and pouring and pouring, and there's a little tiny hole at the bottom of that cup, and it's never filling up for the last whatever months, it's exhausting. I get it. But you, again, are the only one who can provide you with self-care. You have to take control of that and say, nope, I'm better than that. Or no, I don't deserve this. Or no, I'm going to focus on something else because my dreams and my goals are bigger than this temporary feeling that I have right now. You have to decide that. And I know that sounds cliche, that sounds Pinteresty, whatever you want to say, but it's true. When you start taking control of where your energy is going, where your actions are going, what you're putting energy into, things are going to change. So you're going to have to figure out and see strategies for having a healthy work and life balance. Some people say, oh, I got to step back from Scentsy. It's just taking up too much of my time. But is it? But is it? Because if you're doing income producing things, that math ain't mathin', as Amber Ryan would say. Okay. Because income producing things in our business don't take tons of time. You can work your business a few hours a week and be successful. It's probably because you're pouring into that cup that has the bottom cracked, that's barely leaking on the table, and it's never going to fill up. That's probably why you're spending too much time with Scentsy, because you're doing the wrong things. The things that matter: networking, having hosts, meeting new people, having sponsoring conversations, and teaching your new teammates to do the same thing you're doing. Yeah, it can get exhausting because it's a little different of how we ran our business a few years ago. But guess what, guys? We got to get over that. It is 2024. We are halfway through the year. It's time to make a change with how we're working and stop blaming our lack of success on a hyper growth that happened. We have to move on. Okay. And again, you are the only one who can provide self-care to yourself. Is you, number one. Okay. It has to be a non-negotiable for you. So when your phone's off, your phone's off. When you're not working Scentsy, you're not working Scentsy. Right? Be intentional with your time. You have to take care of you, because no one else can take care of you like you can. Again, I get it. It sounds cliche, but it's so, so true. You have to take care of you. So, the actionable item with that is that you have to sit down, give yourself 10 minutes and say, what can I do? What strategy, what action, what can I do to balance my Scentsy, my personal life and my business life a little bit better? Ask yourself that. At what point of your business are you getting burnout? At what point in your business are you feeling like this isn't worth it? Because I'm here to tell you it is. I'm here to tell you, and so many of us are here to tell you that it is worth it. It may not look like it used to. It may take a little bit more time. It may be a little bit harder, or a lot harder. Let's be honest. It may be a lot harder than it used to be, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it. Okay. The time that you're putting into, here, these are just a few things I've heard, into doing something else that may bring you income. I'm trying to be as vague as I can be. That's time you're taking away from putting into your business. That's one less join conversation. That's one less party. That's one less group of people that you're not meeting because you're trying to do something new, which again, trying something new is fine, but we got to be all in. Be all in for a few months. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Since he's not for everyone, I'm not going to say it is, because it's not, because this is hard work, but it's so worth it. So for your actionable item for your personal life, balancing work and personal life, you got to do something that's self-care. If pedicures and all that is your typical stuff is your thing, then do it. My self-care is when I have my boundaries up. When I say, nope, we're not doing that today. Nope, we're not thinking that way. Nope, we're changing direction on how we're doing things today. That's my self-care. My self-care is shutting my phone off. My self-care is knowing where to put my energy. Okay. And that's a learned skill too. Okay. So that's pretty much all I got for you. But I did want to say, if all of this is a repeat to you and you're like, okay, nothing new, la da da, and your business is not where you want it to be, then you're not putting what you're learning into action. Okay. All those things we just talked about, you're not doing those actionable items every single month consistently, because those are the things that provide a successful business. Those provide the 5K, 6K, 10K, 12K paychecks. Those are the things. Again, at the beginning of the meeting, we talked about there's no special magical fairy dust. It hasn't missed you because it's not coming. The hard work that you're going to do is what's coming. Okay. So knowing and doing are two different things. And I want you to start doing the things that we talked about tonight, because that's what's going to make the difference. Again, share your frustrations with your upline, with your director. There's going to be frustrations. There is, okay? It's not going to be, again, this is not 2020 anymore, right? But I do want y'all's commitment to start walking the walk in our business. We know what to do. All of these things that we talked about tonight, we know what to do because we've done them before, and they were probably a lot easier, but we have to commit to walking the walk together, and it starts with us, and it starts with you for your own business. Okay. So I love you guys. Again, I hope you heard all of that with an open heart and open mind. We do really love you. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.